Charles at Empress Mills, and I am absolutely delighted to be here with the brand new Tomtens collection for 2023, which is Tomtens Forest Friends. The Tomtens Christmas collections from Lewis and Irene, I don't know if you've seen them before, but they actually started, I think this is the 4th year, I haven't checked, but I'm more or less certain this is the 4th year. And the designs are a collaboration between Eva Melhuish, who is a very talented illustrator that you will certainly see her talent in a moment with these wonderful designs, and the Lewis and Irene fabric design team, who just make small tweaks to Eva's drawings to make sure that they work and cross over onto fabrics and that they then become useful for your projects. The collection itself is just wonderful. I've always been a massive fan of the Tomtens range. I hope you will be too if you are not already. We've got cushions, we've got all sorts at home. I'm a big fan of Christmas anyway. I'm a big kid, really. I'm a big kid. But we are massive fans of Christmas, and we've got quite a few of Lewis and Irene and Eva's prints at home already. And I think we'll be adding 2 again this year. The prints themselves, let's just take a look at this first one as it just summarises to me the collection overall. We've got this wonderful little Tomten, which is almost in Swedish folklore, their version of Father Christmas, a little bit different to normal Father Christmas in that he isn't quite an exuberant figure, he's a little bit more of an imp, a little bit of a rascal as I understand it, but he appears throughout many of the designs, and particularly on the double-edged border, and you can even see on here just some of the detail, which is lovely to see, where he's skating along there. We've got the Lewis and Irene threaded with a lovely little logo following behind as the trail. But the Forest Friends theme is really kicking in here, and you can see this little fox taking a little stroll, and also this hare in the forest, and the cheeky little Tomten peeking out in the forest scenes as well. But that to me is just a fantastic summary, as the double-edged border is, which we'll see soon, of this collection in general. And we've almost got these icy colours. Let me show you a different colour as well, and you just see what I mean with these different colours working together. But they work, and they've got these sort of icy shades picked up incredibly well for fabric. Just look at how well it comes across on these trees, and you can sort of see the texture of the snow, of the frost. Look at it, I know it sounds silly, but at the bottom, under there, underneath the reindeer and the Tomten there, just look at the little bits of detail in that snowy scene there and around the lantern and things. It's a really, really nifty range. I'm a big fan, as I say. Eva is actually, as I understand it, she has a Swedish mother and an English father, but she draws massive inspiration from her Scandinavian roots, as you can see throughout the collection. But her work, and I'm sure you won't be surprised when you see it on here in particular, but her work just features all over, particularly throughout Europe. It's been printed and into the US in particular. I believe that it's very, very widely recognised now. I'll just show you this because this is the 3rd colourway in it. And as you can see, even though it's got a much whiter background, it is still picking up the detail absolutely fine on the snow. Admittedly, with that sort of creamier background, it doesn't come across quite as strongly as with the blue backgrounds that we've seen just before, but it does definitely still work. So if your project calls for a lighter coloured fabric, if you would rather go down that route, honestly, this will do the trick. What I will say about this creamier one is that the Tomten itself absolutely pops. Just look at the red there, how it pops against that background. So it's the usual job, the little bits of trade-offs in design, but to me, all 3 work fine. Yes, I really do think so. The next designs in the range is the little, let me get the exact name for you, and then we've got it. Yeah, they're just calling it Hare's Light Blue. And this is as the Forest Friends theme really kicks in. And it works. This is picking up one of the colours from the previous design that we saw. Just see if we can get that. So you can see these colours all working together. If you did want to use them as a set, they work together absolutely fine. And there's just a nice little star in the background there, just adding some little detail to the background shading. And as always with Lewis and Irene, we've got a few different colourways. So there is that darker sort of midnight blue colour there. And to me, That's one of my favourites. I just think the star and the hair pops really, really well on that background colour. We've got that one. And I have to admit, I thought there was a third hair, but I am mistaken. I tell a lie, I'm very sorry. There is 3 in one of the other ones. So a little blooper there. I'll get picked on a lot for that one here at Empress, I'm sure. This is actually a reprint. It's been appearing in the Tomtens range, I think, since the very first collection back in 2020. And it's got this midnight sort of sky. We've got the moon and this shooting star and these other bright stars. And this is just a fantastic example of the way Lewis and Irene get the colours to work. Look at those stars. Look at the vibrancy in them. There's no metallic on that range, but it's almost got that pop of a metallic feel to it. It's a real nice design. And and I know I say a lot, particularly when we're doing quilting fabrics, they are designed with quilting in mind, but they are perfect for so many other projects. Cushions in particular, we'll see with the panels, bunting, going across onto other projects. You can even use it for curtaining, tree skirts, absolutely anything on those sorts of lines. And designs like this and the hair in particular, not necessarily focused just on Christmas. This would work with any sort of space fabric really. So don't be limited just to Christmas for these. Obviously the ones with Tomten on, you are a bit limited, I have to admit. The next blender, there is 3, I've got this right now. This features another forest friend. We've got the squirrel and the little robin. And just a nice bit of detail, the robin sort of stood on this little sprig. And again, picking up right from Eva's original illustrations, we've got the squirrel just eating a little nut, another one at its foot, and just stood on a little patch of snow in the forest there. So there's all these little details that come through into the design itself. That comes in 3 colours this time. So we've got that creamier background, we've got this lighter blue, whoops, got this lovely light blue shade, which I think works really, really well on this one actually. I have to admit I wasn't sure when I saw I've only seen this one on the computer design image until just before we filmed, and I think it works out really, really well on the fabric. And then there is the darker blue one, which being honest is still my favourite because I just think it works so well. It's got that sort of Christmassy warmth to it almost as this colour, and those the brown of the squirrel and the little robin redbreast really, really pops absolutely fantastically on that design. And again, you can see, you know, all the detail that's being picked up, and it just, with it being a slightly different background colour, you can just make out some of the colours slightly differently, and they work really, really well together. So, you know, picking up the different detail there in the colour absolutely fantastically. There are the main designs. Now I must just move them a little bit because I can't wait to some of my notes there. I must show you the double-edged border, which is absolutely stunning. Take a look at this. And I'm going to disappear behind it. How fantastic is that? And it just pulls the designs together absolutely fantastically. It really, really does. Right from across the range, you've got let me just move this down a little bit so we're picking it all up, or what we'll probably do is our cameraman / editor, technical guru in chief, might just add a panning shot of this afterwards for you. But at the top, you can see this wonderful night sky, and then coming into all these fantastic illustrations at the bottom that just pull together the range absolutely fantastically. You can see, if I can balance that there, you can see in this print some of the forest friends. There's the hare there and it's running around in the background. You've got the Tomten and he's fishing there, delivering some presents, and these gorgeous wintry scenes, which to me just summarises the range as that's it. That is it in one fabric. That's this collection. It's fantastic. It really is. Now the border is that bit wider, and in terrible fashion, I'm not 100% just sure how wide that one is. I will find out and I shall pop it in the description underneath the video for you. But it's been used for all sorts, but it is fantastic, not just for quilting, brilliant for dresses and things, because it's got that extra width. You can cut it along the centre line, and you can make a dress whether you need to attach some extra depending on the size of the person you're making for. If it's for a little one, you might just get away with it as it is. But yes, but it uses it for absolutely all sorts, and you can see why I caught you. I mean, it's a stunner. It's always a sellout, is the double-edged border, and I'm not surprised. I must, while talking about the border, I mentioned to Mum just before we started filming, I was doing it, and she said, please be sure to show just how it works. We always get lots of questions on the border. So how it works, just so we're clear, is that there is a selvage at both sides, as you know. Let me just spread this out, show you in some detail, because as I say, we do always get a lot of queries on this apparently. I didn't realise, but let me spread it out so I can show you properly. So that is the full width of the fabric, that's selvage to selvage, and the way the border works is from one selvage you've got the design, that turns into this night sky, and that blends up towards the centre of the fabric, and then the other side kicks in, so then you blend back towards the other side of the border, and that's how it works throughout. So we do fat quarters of this, it works, or of course you can buy it by the ½ metre or metre, but that is overall how the design works. I know we get a lot of questions on it, so I hope that's been useful. We'll see, that's what all these videos are about, so fingers crossed that that helps in some way. We've got the fat quarter pack, which is the nice selection of the main designs, but the next bit I am going to go through are the wonderful panels, which I've got cut here, and we'll take a look at each one. If you're interested in one in particular, if you take a look in the description of the video, because I know this one's going to be a bit longer because of the massive range of designs in the collection, but if you take a look in the description, we've popped some chapters in so you can click and find the panel that you are particularly interested in taking a look at. So yes, let's take a look at the panels. These are in absolutely no particular order. They are just how our team upstairs have cut them. So let's see what we find, because I'm not entirely sure of the order, but I'm sure we'll work it all out together. Which one is this? Oh, this is the placemats, which is super. So you're getting the 6 placemats there in this set. And again, this pulls together, obviously it does, but it pulls together lots of the designs, and they're just absolutely super little scenes on these placemats. We've got some of these at home from a previous collection. These are new designs for this year, obviously, but absolutely super. You're seeing the Forest Friends sort of really kick in there as part of the theme there, and also there on the little fox, but also obviously the Tomten featuring on many of those, as well as that fantastic wintry night sky and obviously the background forest scene as well. With the placemats, we will do another little follow-up video sometime very soon. You can use Insulbrite, or you can use Polytherm. Do I mean Polytherm? Yes, Polytherm, for adding a heat protective layer if you want to use them as placemats. Going to be taking a lot of heat. That's one option. But yes, that's that. Let me take a peek at this one. This will be the 5-inch square set. Perfect for coasters if you want to go down that route, or wonderful for using as little borders. You can cut them out in any direction, that's up to you. Just to make sure you've got a feel of the direction of the design, that is selvage to selvage. So my hand is the width of the design there. So that's the sort of set you are getting on there. And again, pulling all sorts of design elements through. That Christmas tree there is just an absolute little beauty to me. I remember seeing that on the CAD images. It's a real beauty, and that start just coming out into the border just for a little bit of extra detail. It's nice. But yeah, so that's the 5-inch square set. What have we got next? It's going to be a stocking, I think. Yes. Look at these. I think my Sophie might end up with a set of these if we make some samples. So the Christmas stockings on this one, and you do get these additional tabs, which you can either use as tabs for the, just make sure we can see it. So we've got these additional tabs, and you can use those as the tab for the stocking. That makes, that just finishes those off, gives them a way of hanging them up. And again, just very much in theme with the main design on the stockings. And again, just so we're clear, that is selvage to selvage as well. Aren't they good, these designs? I'm a big kid, I know, but I love these prints. Now, which one is this? It's feeling big. Is it the quilt panel? Yes, it is. Sheila, our wonderful sample maker here at Empress, is absolutely busting to make one of these quilt panels up. Let me hold it right up. Is that working? No, there we go. She's busting to make one of these quilt panels up. I don't think, frustrating, that we're going to have enough stock. It's Lewis and Irene always try and bring some extra stock in of their designs. Stocking, that's a nice little link, isn't it? But some excess meterage, let's say, just so it makes sense in this video, of their designs. Unfortunately, it's been tough. I say unfortunately. Unfortunately for us at Empress, it's been so popular before it's arrived. There isn't much spare, and I don't think we can get any extra stock of this other than what we've already ordered. But it is absolutely stunning. I'm sure you'll agree. You've got that fantastic scene in the middle. I'll just make sure we can pick that up on the camera. But you've got that fantastic scene in the middle, which is just, it's almost like the double-edged border, just focused in that one element. And then the 5-inch squares that we saw on the previous design, a slightly scaled down version of those have been used around the outside, and it is just an absolute stunner. It works obviously perfectly with the range, but the Starry Night Sky is a fantastic option for backing this if you did want to coordinate the backing fabric. Just an idea, just an option. I'm sure you'll come up with some far more creative ideas than my suggestions though. So that is the quilt panel, which is just something else. It really is. What is next? Now this is the Advent panel. There we go. So that's the Advent calendar panels that you can make. And again, you're getting the full set there, and that is selvage to selvage. So that is selvage to selvage, and of course you get everything you need to make that and work them together. And again, it's a collection, a little bit like the 5-inch squares. It just works perfectly as the Advent set. It's a really nice panel. And then two left. Ooh, this is always a favourite. And again, redesigned for this year. This is the Bunting Set, which is absolutely incredibly popular every year since Lewis and Irene started doing Christmas bunting. It has been so popular. Bunting, again, we will come back to it, but just to give you a feel for the panel itself, you've got that there, and I must, because I just think it's a fantastic little detail, spin it round, and you've got the Tomten there with the Lewis and Irene logo, this sort of threaded with love idea in the background, which is just nice. If you're a sewer at all, it's nice to know those details. I'm sure you'll agree. So yes, there is that wonderful bunting panel, and I will come back and we'll hopefully, as long as we've got the stock, we will make some of the particular bunting up. Just show you a little bit of detail. It works fantastically well with in our form or Styleville as the backing, as the interfacing. Just gives it that extra little bit of body and makes it hang fantastically. Just something to bear in mind. And then finally, I know we've got a set of these at home from last year, but these are new designs for this, the cushion panel. And again, just look at the size of those. It's brilliant, isn't it? And you've got the four obvious designs on there with the different scenes. And then also Lewis and Irene always make sure they use everything. You've got this at the side, which you can either use as part of the cushions, or it just gives you some additional fabric to play with. But they are fantastic, aren't they, those cushions? As I say, we've got some from last year's set at home, and they are fantastic. And just a little note on the quality of Lewis and Irene's fabric. If you've used them before, you will probably already know, but we've found that we've always known it's fantastic quality. But in all of the samples we've made, it always lasts well. But the cushions in particular, they took a beating last year. My little one loves them. We had them under the tree. We had them all over. And I'm not joking, they're like new. I think we've actually got them out for some pictures for this year already. But it is just wonderful quality fabric. It really is. And that's it. That's the panels done. So I know I've gone on a little bit there. I hope it has been of use and you've enjoyed taking a little peek at the panels with us. It really is a bit of a special collection. I really do think so. It's a real beauty. If you have any questions, if I've missed mentioning, I'm looking around thinking, have I missed anything? If I've mismentioned anything, if you would like to see something in a little bit more detail, anything at all, you know what to do. Please get in touch. You can leave a message underneath the video, you can email us through the website, you can message through any of our social media channels, or of course, pick up the phone and have a chat to one of our wonderful team. We will be delighted to be of service. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.